show.
Who are supposed to be capable.
That is like 9:30 every day. Red wine, that's about my
I
only
would want to have one person who may have only had a year doing, because it's such a position
Okay.
in the employment.
I'd like to call to order a meeting of the Summer Board of Selectmen. This is a regular meeting, and today is Thursday, the 17th of April, 2025. At 6 p.m., we're in the Town Hall Auditorium. I'd like to start off the meeting. Please join me in a Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So roll call. Mike's not here tonight?
Mike is not here tonight. He had family in town, so they.
Okay.
And Brian's on vacation this week with his family.
All right. Is he going to call in or anything?
No.
Brian sent us a note.
Yeah, we have no representatives of the Finance Department.
I asked Danny to come, but I don't know.
We have our town attorney, Carl Andolina. We have Maureen Parcell, our director of Recreation and Leisure Services. We have Joanne Nichting, our library director, joined by Bob Socia, who's going to make a presentation, and two members of the board. Kim LaFleur is our ops director. We also have Selectman Meyer on my right and Selectman Schmidt on my left. And I think that does it.
Covers it all.
Don't have a lot of public here, but we always invite the public, but they rarely show up. Guess that means we're doing a good job, right? Who knows? Okay. Public comment, we have none, of course. Presentations by the first selectman. I have a few things I just want to mention that we have scheduled coming up that are just worth notifying the public of. We have an Easter egg hunt this Saturday starting at 10 o'clock in the morning at Field Road Park. We usually have a couple of hundred kids that show up with parents. Should be a lot warmer this year than last year. Last year it was cold. This year the high on Saturday is going to be 80 degrees.
Yep.
No, hopefully it won't be that hot by the time they finish.
It won't. And it won't take more than 5 minutes for this. That's right.
It's quick.
3,000 or 4,000 eggs gone in 5 minutes.
Yep. They bring their Hoover vacuum cleaners.
Yeah. It's really well organized, so it's great if you have kids or have neighbors with no kids. Make sure they know about this. Let's see, we have a town public hearing on the town budget coming up next week on the 22nd of April, 7 p.m. here in this room. Obviously sponsored primarily by the Board of Finance, but of course Board of Selectmen will be here. And if you want to learn about what's in the town budget, it's a pretty good presentation. I've seen it, all the different slides, and recommend people attend if they're interested. And then we have the fishing derby scheduled for May 3rd. It's a Saturday at 9:30. Starts at 9:30 sharp in the morning. It's being sponsored by Summers Rotary. It's been going on for 65 years. Called the Paul Monstello Fishing Derby. Jack Janice, I think, might know. I don't know Paul Monstello.
You live next door to the school?
Beg pardon?
You live next door to the Somerville School?
He did. You got a great memory.
Yeah, what happened 2 hours ago, though?
But the deal is, if you're going to go, be prompt, because they're going to start right at 9:30. It'll be a great event. There'll be over 200 people involved. Kids absolutely love it, I can guarantee you. My kids still talk about it. And there are signs. There's parking behind the Monticello, which is at 7 33 Hall Hill Road, and there's parking behind it, and there are signs as to how to get to the park. So it shouldn't be hard to find. And the weather's supposed to be decent, as I said. Okay. That's it for my presentations. Consent agenda, boards and commissions. We have nothing there. Yeah. Opportunity to add urgent agenda items. Do we have anything?
No, I didn't have nothing.
Finance, we have nothing other than we have presentation of scheduled payments. So we have those that have been prepared by the finance office. We need a motion to authorize the payments.
Happy to make a motion to authorize the payments of $349,490.84.
Second that.
Great. Any further discussion on the motion? I've gone through in detail the entire list, and it looks good to me. All those in support of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thanks.
Yep.
Kim, are we giving this to you?
Yes, thank you.
You'll be in this back to us.
Okay. To pending business, we have none. New business. Discussion regarding school building committee. I'd like to ask Attorney Lino.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. We had a problem with
Yeah, why don't you sit right there?
Okay, yeah.
Is it on?
Yeah, these are the only four that work. Brian's calling audio people, so that's fixed to the Board of Finance public hearing. Oh, it's right there underneath.
Yeah, okay.
So we did have an executive session 2 weeks ago, right? So
We did. Thank you. For the record, Carl Andolina. Good evening, gentlemen. So,
town attorney.
oh, yes. During a discussion, I think how this came up with the first selectman about sort of a tangential matter to the school building committee. I wasn't aware that you had a school building committee that was focused on, was aware of the project generally. So I remember this goes back to
3 years.
yeah, the ARPA, I think that might have been one of the first contributions from ARPA. Yeah.
It was 3 years that they formed that ago?
Well, I don't know when the committee was formed, but I remember being here and the school superintendent was asking for, I think, $50,000 to start a study on the HVAC system or something.
Right.
And I think it was the first distribution from the ARPA funds.
You're right.
That's how I remember it. Ask me what I did 2 hours ago. But in any event, so I was looking through the charter and such just to familiarize myself with the committee, and it came to my attention that there was no record of the school building committee having been formed as a result of a resolution adopted at a town meeting, and that's what's provided in your charter. It's very specific. And then more generally, I looked at Title 10 of the general statutes. There's a chapter and a whole chapter about school building projects. And one of the things that concerned me or that needed some review was language in your charter also that said the Board of Selectmen have the authority, general authority in town to administrate town affairs subject to the jurisdiction of other boards and commissions, all of them, and specifically says, and accept those matters under the exclusive jurisdiction of the Board of Education. So I dove into that a little bit more, and that's when I went to the general statutes to see if there was anything in the school building committee chapter in Title 10 that gave exclusive control of a building project, a school building project, to the Board of Ed, and there is not. Matter of fact, there is a statute. The only statute that talks about it generally is one that says if the town, not the BOE, but if the town forms a school building committee, you must have the chairman of the Board of Ed or their designee must be a member, and that you must also include someone from the community who has experience in the construction industry. Obviously, if you're building an entire building, like a general contractor, or if you're doing, in this case, an HVAC, project, you might want somebody with experience in that
Does
field.
it have to be someone from the community?
Yes. Right. So every committee is staffed by members of the community.
Right.
Generally, there might be a few exceptions, but I didn't see that this was one of them.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So, and then in discussing it with you, Mr. First Selectman, we couldn't find any record of any town meeting that occurred to
Right.
create this committee.
We did have a town meeting when we appointed 2 members of the committee. I remember that. One was Bill Meyer.
Yeah.
and the other-
So if it ever occurred, I haven't been privy to that.
No, we did not have a town
No,
meeting.
we just had
Yeah.
a meeting to appoint
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
additional people. to the
Yeah,
committee.
right.
In a board meeting, is it appointed? Yes.
So who
Right.
actually created do we know who created the committee?
I just assumed, wrongly so, apparently, because I'm hearing for the first time tonight that you guys didn't do this. You
I'm
put-
sure this isn't the first time that the town has created a committee that it was supposed to get permission from the town itself at the
Well,
meeting.
So the town generally is you.
Right.
If the statutes say the town, they're talking about you guys, unless it says the executive or the legislative body or town meeting. And it doesn't, the statute that talks about school building says the town shall do that. So that would, under the charter, fall within your purview. And in this case, it falls within your purview with the approval, subsequent approval at a town meeting.
So we would then have to have a town meeting to approve.
So, and you'd say, okay, we want to form a school building committee for this purpose, and we're going to have 6 members, and they're going to be appointed by the Board of Selectmen, subject to one of them being the chairman of the Board of Ed, and another one in the field, our
Designate, right.
yeah. So but there's no record that I could find that ever occurred. So whatever's been going on with this particular school building committee appears, absent any evidence to the contrary, that it was formed inappropriately
Right.
under the town charter, and as such, it has no legal effect. It doesn't, in my mind, it doesn't even exist. So,
So how do you recommend we resolve this?
well, I think just to clean up the record, I would ask you to take a vote to, because this is, again, the formation would have been within your purview, so certainly the disbanding of it, even though it doesn't really exist,
Right.
just to clean up the record, say, I would ask you to take a formal vote to disband
Right.
the
Right.
current school building committee, and then, at such time as you believe it's necessary, I guess in the near future, because I guess you bought it for this project, so it's, it still has legs, then I'll assist you to whatever degree you want. We'll come up with a resolution. You'll tell me, well, I want 5 members, I want 7, I want 12, I want,
Right.
and we'll put a resolution before the town committee,
Yeah.
of the town meeting, and then,
Yeah.
it would be, in my opinion, that the resolution give you the authority to appoint the members, subject to the 2 that are necessary under the statute, and once that happens, then you can form the committee, and they can reconstitute and become an actual valid committee here in town.
Great. Okay. Good direction.
Thank
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. That definitely conforms with the
So then we should have a formal vote on now to.
I would suggest it again, just to kind of clean up the record.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So you'd like one of us to make a motion then to.
Well, if you're ready to do that, if anyone has any questions, or,
I think we understand it, and we
Yeah.
discussed this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you were very
Yeah.
clear 2 weeks ago.
well, what we discussed 2 weeks ago was the content of my initial letter to you.
Oh, yeah, that's
Right.
one thing I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
You did send us a letter that was very informative.
That's the second letter. The first letter was protected,
Yeah, we
a
got that.
protected document, and that's not what we're discussing tonight.
Right.
The contents it doesn't,
Yes.
right.
But the second letter,
The second letter, the one you just got a few days ago.
Yeah, to be clear.
Yeah.
we can release that, can't we?
Yes, because we're talking about it in the public. And you could release the first one if you chose to at this point.
No, I'd like to, this one's good. I think
Yeah.
this is the one we should use.
So, but,
Okay.
yeah,
This one dated April 14th.
yes.
Okay.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Well, it's a public document now. You don't have to release it because it's already in the public domain. So just,
Right.
if anyone wants to see it, they're entitled
We can
to.
send people copies of it.
If anybody asks for it, sure, at
Yeah.
50 cents a page.
Great.
So at the recommendation of the town attorney, I would make a motion to follow his recommendation and disband the current school building committee.
Second?
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anything else?
So the next step then would be for us to ask you, which we will do after tonight's meeting, ask you to draft up a resolution.
What I would suggest, put it on the agenda of a future meeting, and the things that I'm going to want to know are essentially how many members you're going to want to see, and I guess that would basically be it, and I will, that would be up to you, and I'd like to, and then authorize me to draft a resolution for adoption at a town meeting with that information, whatever you give me. And we may want to put some limiting language in there, like this is a school building committee specifically for this project.
Right.
It's not intended to be to last beyond the scope of the project. As soon as the project is done, that'll be the end of this committee. And they're not a permanent committee, they're a temporary committee for this specific project,
Yeah.
wherever that leads you.
Yeah, well, I think we need to have a discussion with the school board about what the next step is.
I would suggest you probably do that before you head to the next,
I think this would be very important because there's a lot, Tim and I, 3 years ago or so, had other ideas about what to do with the elementary school.
That's entirely up to you.
Yeah, I just say.
But the next move would be yours,
Ideas
and you're going to need as much information as you can possibly get, and if you'll talk to whoever you need to talk to.
Mr. McPhee had given Tim and I a tour of the elementary school from top to bottom, literally. We went in the basement, we went on top of the roof. I mean, we went in just about every aspect of the building, and he had a recommendation for us based on his years of care of the building.
Understood.
Yeah, it might be helpful to have a meeting with the Board of Education.
I think that'd be a good
For us to
idea.
do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think Mr. McPhee.
So that'll make sure that they would understand what it is we're doing.
I don't know who Mr. McPhee is, I'm sorry.
He's the grounds manager.
Okay,
and
he's-
building
Yeah,
manager
he
for
takes
the
care of
school
all the
campus.
buildings and the grounds and for the
Got it.
school board.
He probably knows more than anyone else about
Yeah, he knows.
Sure he does.
Yeah, he's taken care of them for I don't know how many
condition of
years.
those buildings and
Yeah.
He's been doing that a
what the
long
needs
time.
are.
Yeah, you wouldn't find the town attorney crawling around in a crawl space underneath there. Or superintendent for that matter, probably not.
No, but the good thing was, as I told you, he took us through every aspect of the building.
So, yeah, I get it.
So we'll draft ask you to draft a resolution.
When the time is, you're ready to do that, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Carl.
Okay. Anything else for the evening, or,
I can't think of anything.
I guess there's a Little League game going on next door, so
Yeah.
maybe I'll,
That's a home run. Thank you, Carl.
all right.
Thank you.
Quite
No
apropos.
pun intended.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Have a good night. Thank you.
See you.
Yeah, the reason we put you on first is to get you off the clock.
Yeah, I know that.
You figured that out. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But I think if I stay on property,
From one attorney to another. Yeah.
Nice try.
Okay. So next we have a presentation by Bob Sosha and Joanne Nickting, and other library board members if they want to join them, for presentation of the concept of a gazebo behind the library.
Gazebo?
Gazebo.
Gazebo.
Gazebo. Some pictures of it.
He's shuffling his paperwork.
Joanne.
Here, There you go.
How was it going to be her fault?
Yeah.
She didn't have anything to do with that.
You coming up?
Oh, fine. You want these out or?
Yeah.
I don't want to show them yet.
Okay.
Oh.
It's a
all right.
surprise.
Top secret? Behind the curtain.
Top secret.
Okay.
Things on.
By the way, before you start, I'd just like to say that I think the library is in great shape. The library board is a very strong board. Got a great relationship with the director and the town, so I want to congratulate you on that. And so we're starting from very solid ground.
Would agree.
Good deal, good deal. My name is Bob Sosha, 12 Amy Lane, Summers. I have some housekeeping too. I think I gave this to Kim earlier as part of your agenda. It might have been in your packages.
Right here.
I get excited. I wrote north when that should be south on line 2. Why are you laughing? And why aren't you speaking British?
I didn't know she was from England.
She talks like it
Sometimes.
sometimes.
She was on vacation there. I didn't know that.
I'd like to thank you guys tonight and the board members for letting me come up here and talk. Been a resident of town since January of '76. My parents moved here. I graduated class of '82. Moved to Stafford for 10 years, and I've been back in Summers since year 2000. We actually moved in November 30th of 2000. I built my wife a nice house, and she said to me, and reminds me constantly, it was the worst birthday she ever had, because we moved all day long from one house in Stafford to the house in Summers. So, I was the library clerk of the works in 2008, and was appointed to fill a vacancy on the board in 2009. And in 2009, we had elections that year, and I ran for the board of trustees in the library, and I've been serving ever since. My presentations are always interactive. So, anybody ever been to the library?
Yeah, I've been in the library.
Show of hands.
2 days ago.
I go there quite a bit.
It's a cool place with great staff and a wonderful director, Joanne Nitching. She has and continues to make the library an awesome place. Excuse me. She's up on the latest technology and continues to look for ways to make the library a destination. She and her staff constantly provide programs on a plethora of subject matter for all ages. Her vision is why we are here tonight. Show of hands, ever been to the back courtyard area? In 2007, the town put out to bid renovations for the library. Tai Soo Kim out of Hartford was selected to do this. We actually basically doubled the size of the library. And in doing so, besides the cupolas and skylights, this back courtyard was supposed to be a focal point of the new library.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Ornamental bushes, integral gutters, which is an inside joke. I don't think anybody's here. If Andy was here, he'd be laughing. Bollard lighting, nice pavered walkways, green grass. If you go out there now, it doesn't look like that. It's on the south face of the property. And in the summertime, it gets quite hot. There's no shade out there. And as far as the shrubbery and stuff, I don't know if it's plastic or what now, but last summer, Joanne approached Todd Rowland, our Public Works Director, and asked what we could do with this space. And between her and him, they came up with an idea, why don't we just get one of those roll-off things and drop a building out there, and we can use that for the kids and such things. And I think you guys came up with a preliminary budget, and but Todd told her to speak to me and said, hey, why don't you guys get together and figure out what you want to do. We've been talking since, and being in the construction industry as long as I have, I didn't want to just throw a barnyard building in there. I wanted something that was aesthetically pleasing, something that would complement the surrounding building and buildings on campus. We have a nice school campus with a library on it. And we've been discussing it for about 7 months. And Todd Rowland has been involved the whole time. We've been keeping him abreast of what's happening. Show of hands, Marge Griswold. Marge Griswold, longtime resident of Summers. She lived at the corner of Turnpike, Battle, and Mountain Road. There's a red house there that was built in 1780, whatever. I'm told she's 99 years old and currently residing in a nursing home somewhere up in Massachusetts. And she's the only living descendant of Hazel Nealons. Hazel Nealons?
I know.
You guys. Hazel Nealons? Okay. Hazel Nealons lived in Enfield with her husband, and I think they were farmers, weren't they?
I believe so.
They were landowners, and we can only assume that they didn't. None of the kids wanted to take over the farm and stuff like that.
Oh, they never had children.
They did.
No, they.
Marge Griswold did.
Oh, that's her. Oh,
Marge is the niece.
I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Anyway, the Nealons sold their property, gave some of it to their extended family, some of the money, and the rest of it went into a trust. And the beneficiaries of that trust were the area libraries, Suffield, Enfield, Summers.
You want me to tell the story? Okay.
We're not worthy.
Well, I do my research and I got it right. So, all right. So Hazel Nealons and her husband came from Enfield. I believe they owned farmland. He might have been a businessman. They moved to Summers in 1957. And I believe he passed away maybe in the 70s. She passed away in 1983. They never had any children. Marge Griswold was their niece. So that's where she comes in. But anyway, so Hazel and her husband never had any children. When Hazel passed away, she put her estate in a trust. And she then, the trust pays out twice a year from the earnings to us, Johnson Memorial, and I want to say some kind of, it's not a religious organization. There's two other organizations. We're the only library. Hazel was a big reader, according to, we spoke to Marge years ago. She was a big reader. She appreciated the library, so that's why we were thought of. Since then, I went back and started digging around, and I figured that we've probably received from this trust over the last 40 years about $140,000 just in these payments that have been coming in. And then you could
Documented 120, but there were some.
yeah, we were missing
There were
some.
some years that were missing, but dollar cost averaging, you can kind of summate that anywhere between 140, but more towards $140,000 from this one trust.
Mm-hmm.
That money has gone into the library's endowment fund. That being said, we would like to dip into that endowment fund and put in a nice pavilion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jim, you got a job. You don't want to get my way.
You gonna stand there and hold it?
I wish I had more. I only have the two.
Very good.
That's fine. But anyway,
That's nice.
I know a local architect, and the board approved us to do some renditions.
I can hold it.
Good.
Basically,
There you go, your lovely assistants.
Whoops.
that's the gist of it. Basically, through our talking in the board, we've paid a few visits down to Cloder Farm. And this is basically not a roll-off building. It's going to be manufactured down in Pennsylvania, and it will be assembled here on site. Talking to Todd, he's willing to provide the site services, the digging and whatnot. And we wanted to run this by you guys to get you on board. I've pitched this to is it Lennart, the fire marshal?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chief
and
Lennart.
Chief Lennart.
Chief, fire chief.
Yeah, and he pushed this off to, is it Simmons? I think his notes are on there.
Yes.
We didn't know how many people could fit in this thing, and we weren't going to build this thing if we could only have 10 people in it. So we kind of did a chicken and an egg and got Cloder Farm to come up with the preliminary drawings, to which he says, if it's this big, it can be this many people in chairs. If it's this big, it can be this many people in chairs and whatnot. We meet all the egress specs for the back of the library and this building. It already has, like I said, the site lighting and whatnot. But we want to make this a celebration. This is a no-cost thing to the taxpayers of Somers. It's all endowment money. It's a maintenance-free building, and I hate using the term maintenance-free building because we all know there's no such thing. But we should be able to get 8 to 10 years out of it without any significant repair or such. We might have a damaged screen, hinge, a lock, something like that.
Vinyl sided?
Vinyl sided. Closed gables so we don't have birds and stuff going in there. Active cupola, a couple of ceiling fans in there, lights. The back electrical room has space in the panels where we can actually come out of the building, run power underground up into this place. And it would be a nice place for civic groups to meet. I know the American Legion meet over there in the Blake room. The kids, the story time room, it gets a little hot in there in the summertime, but maybe they can go out there. The schools, they can come down, whatever our policies and procedures are.
Approximately, what's the capacity then? As far
Well, it's on that sheet that I gave you. 20. The first thing that we went to, the sizes was about 480 square feet, and that would allow us 32 people, tables and chairs. And then I think it went up by 4 people to go to a 20 by 26, and then a little bit more. We're still in negotiations. We're supposed to have our meeting this week, but we didn't have a quorum, so we're meeting next week. We might make it a little bit bigger. I don't think it. If you look at that drawing over there, we're currently inside the footprint of the building. It's all town-owned land anyway, so even if we went a little bit bigger, it shouldn't be an issue, as long as we maintain our egress. But it looks nice, right?
No, it's very good.
In addition to this, we have other groups in town that want to donate to it. The Women's Club, the American Legion Club. Show of hands, Lois Lindell.
I've heard of her.
Lois Lindell, very active in the town of Somers, very active with the Congregational Church. Ann Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, of course.
Joanne Horniak.
Oh, yeah.
They were like the Three Musketeers. So Lois just recently passed away, and those ladies would like to make a donation to this facility as well. We would like to have press releases, get the newspapers involved. This is a positive thing with all the crap that's going on right now. Why not make it a human interest story, if you will? Dedicate the thing to Hazel Nealons. Get Marge Griswold on FaceTime or something like that so she can see it, or I don't even know her mental capacity. Somebody knows her. Somebody said that
Diane Childs,
Diane Childs, okay.
she gave me the last update of that she was still, and she was in the nursing home in Massachusetts.
Do you know where she is? Which we should.
I can see if I can find out.
No, it sounds very good, a great idea.
Put something in the paper that this is, not funded with Joe taxpayer money, Lost my train of thought here. But anyway, make it all positive. We're talking probably a late summer, fall start. Talking to Todd, he said that we would have to go through a CIP process in the town, and I wish Carl had stayed. And I had met with Tim earlier, full disclosure. We had a little informal conversation on this too, but it's endowment money, so I don't know how we have to proceed. We're not looking to do it ourselves because we're not in that business. You guys are. You probably have people in town. We want to use local contractors. We want to use local material suppliers. We want to put a big plaque on the back of the brick fireplace in that courtyard and dedicate it to them, and maybe put You Find Men's name on there as a selectmen board, and some of the trustees, and Hazel Nealon's, and anybody else that wanted to donate here, Lois Lindell. Make it all positive.
How much money do you have to donate to get your name on the board?
How much you got?
That's up for you to figure out.
Didn't you guys go to school together?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. So,
It's my teacher.
You believe it?
I think a motion was made for $99,999.99, because I think there's something written in there about $100,000, but it isn't town money, and I guess I would defer that to you guys on how we can handle this, and working with Brian and how we can write checks and celebrate the people that are in town. We want to invite only. We want to do a proprietary
Sounds
spec.
very good.
A proprietary spec that would have Cloder Farm. Joe Schneider, the Schneiders, the Lugenbuehls, the Cloders, awesome people. I don't know if anybody's ever done business with them, but they're offering substantial discounts to municipalities, and they want to work with the town of Somers, and they want to have good name out there for themselves.
Beautiful. Well, I'm sure we can work with Todd Rowland and help us with this.
Yeah, he was going to be here tonight, but today's a holiday, so.
He's on vacation this week or something.
Yeah.
So tonight, then, you're looking just for our approval with the concept that we're willing to support.
I don't know
the
what I'm
concept,
looking for.
and then,
So I also went to our new building inspector, and I gave him what you guys had, and he said, "This is nice, but I really can't do anything until you submit something to me." And I said, but he thanked me for coming to see him anyway. So we want
Good warm-up.
Yeah, we want this to happen. We don't have it all figured out yet. We don't know the exact dollar amount. We still have to have our final meeting with the board. Hopefully end of the summer, fall, definitely before the snow flies, try to get this thing in place.
Yeah, the board here can work with Todd and come up with a plan.
Yeah, no, this sounds great. I mean, I support it. I think.
Terrific.
I mean, we meet every 2 weeks, so just as you have more
Yeah.
information, come back.
Good.
And yeah, I think looks awesome.
Good.
Good job.
Bring your prop holders with you next time.
Yeah.
One of them got walking pneumonia. I told him to stay.
Oh,
That's too bad.
sorry.
Is there any questions with the paperwork I gave you? It's quite simple at this point, but at least you guys have an idea.
Well, the pictures are very clear.
It looks nice. We wanted to have something that, had the same pitch as the gables on that side, so we'd have 3 nice gables facing the elementary school. You're looking at that lower picture down there. Matching the cupolas. We didn't want to just throw a piece of,
Yeah, you want it to fit in.
we want it aesthetically pleasing and to complement the surrounding building.
Right.
And
Oh, yeah, really great.
Well
I'd like to
done. Looks great.
Congratulate you and the board for doing this.
Very
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So keep going and work with Todd and come
Yes,
back
and
and
then
see
come
you.
back and
Yeah.
we'll work with Brian as far as like how the fiduciary, like how checks are drawn and all that. I mean, we can work through all
I think
that.
there was some mention about a $15,000 threshold. And honestly, and there's not a lot of stuff that's going in here. We got site work, which Todd said that the town would take care of, and I don't know who we
Yep.
asked permission to do that. Concrete work, which isn't a big amount. We have the building, which is the substantial amount, and we have an electrician. Those are the big key numbers. And then whether the fire marshal wants us to extend a line out there for horns and strobes, exit signs, we're willing to do whatever you guys want us to do to maximize capacity and to keep
Whatever you
everybody.
have to do to follow the code.
Yeah. So we have options on our end, but yeah, we just wanted to get you guys.
Well, I
let you know-
appreciate you coming in and telling us about this and presenting the plan. That looks fantastic. You've obviously thought long and hard about it. figured out how to get to the Nealon's trust account to do something.
Isn't that neat, though?
It really is. It's fantastic.
We really didn't know. We get these checks every once in a while in our meetings, and it's like, I wonder how much this lady's, Francine, do you remember the old library director? She had kept all the deposits and stuff except for a few years, and it's amazing.
Do you keep this, how do you manage the trust, by the way? I'm just curious.
The trust is managed by Bank of America, so all we're doing is just getting a check twice a year. So they're managing the
They
trust.
invested for you?
No, that's the endowment you're talking about.
You're talking about the Nealon's Trust, or you're talking about the endowment?
The
I think you're talking about the Nealon's
Nealon's
Trust.
Trust.
The Nealon's Trust is managed by Bank of America, so that was
So
also.
you're just on the receiving end. I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yep, we don't do anything.
For 40 years. To no end.
And it's just been building ever since.
We just get a check. Last I knew, she's probably got about 500,000 in there. I think it started with 170,000, and there's some formula that they have to determine, the percentages. And
So you put
that's
these
what-
checks into a bank account?
That goes into the checks the checks are going into the checking account, which is just operating funds coming that the board is responsible for, as opposed to coming out of the operating budget.
And then that goes to John Rocco, our bean counter financial advisor.
He doesn't handle the checking account, though.
Yeah, but
He
it's not
just
all.
handles the
I guess the question is, if you got, how much money do you have in this account that you're receiving?
So there's money that's invested with, Brian would know all this too. There's money that's invested with Charles Schwab, and the board has a financial advisor that manages all that. The board also has a checking account with Webster Bank that is, the town handles that, and that has any kind of revenue that the library receives, which includes these checks from this trust.
So donations, like overdue book fines,
Exactly.
whatever.
Anything like that, any kind of random revenues that are coming in go into this Webster checking account, and that money is used for anything that the board decides to pay for.
Which historically was programming, right?
Actually, the Friends do programming.
Okay,
So it's really things that are just not handled by the operating budget.
okay.
Right.
So I might go to them, for example, recently we had the carpets cleaned in the boardroom because we had the problem with one of the pumps went.
Right.
And rather than, I go to the DPW and I say, listen, we need the carpet clean. I know Todd's running in the red right now. I say, you know what, let me talk to the board. The board can help out with this. So the board's kicking in money here and there for various things. So that's where this money is going to. So we have that
Sounds good.
checking account. And then periodically, we can go into the Schwab account, take a few thousand, put it in the checking account. We haven't had to do that in a while now. It's been quite a while. So,
Well, it sounds like the funds are there and you guys know how to manage it, so.
right,
Beautiful.
Gentlemen, thank you.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
for all this. Thank you. Yes, nice job.
Kim, thanks for the easel.
You can just leave it on. Yeah. No worries. Oh, thanks. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Nice to see you.
Next on the agenda, we have Director Parcell with the staffing request.
Good evening. Maureen Parcell. I'd like to formally request and recommend that we hire Ms. Darlene McRae as our part-time Senior Center Program Coordinator. I know I was here, I don't remember, maybe a month ago or
Yeah,
so.
we talked about it before.
So we had interviewed a couple of other people. They declined the position. Darlene has verbally accepted. So we interviewed Darlene on April 9th. She has a lengthy professional background at Aetna. She started with Aetna through a work-study program. She was 16 years old. It was a work-study program at Enfield High School. She was 16, and she retired from the company in July of 2023. It's an amazing story. Anyway, since she has retired, she has spent time volunteering in.
We're not going to ask how old she is, but how many years did she work at Aetna?
A long time, a very long time. Her entire life.
Wow.
Amazing story. So since she has retired, she's been volunteering in Enfield at the Elks Club. She's been planning, coordinating events, fundraising, cooking, decorating, making crafts, and working with the public. She is now seeking a fulfilling and rewarding part-time position, working with seniors in her own hometown community. She is a Summers resident, and she would like to stay within her hometown. And this position, she saw this open position.
She's really nice. I love her.
She is super nice. She will make a great addition to our team.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Sounds great.
Sounds terrific. How'd you find her?
She saw the posting. Yep.
You didn't have to tackle her.
Lucky duck.
Yes. Thankfully.
Well, sounds good.
Yes. This position has been open since January, so we are very excited to get her started.
Well, sounded good the
Hopefully
first
for
time
Monday.
you came, so
Yes.
I'm all for it.
Thank you.
Bill, do you have any comments?
No?
No. We need a motion then. Right.
Well, I have to make a motion to approve the request to hire Darlene McCray as a part-time senior center coordinator at an hourly rate of $18 an hour and a start date of April 21st.
Second then?
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maureen.
You just want to shoot her an email just to let her know.
Do that tonight.
Okay, thanks.
The next item on the agenda is to authorize the first selectman to execute an employment agreement extending the 6 months the requirement that the Chief David Lenhart has to find a house within 25 miles of the station. He currently lives in Derby and basically commutes. And I have talked to the chief about this, and he and his wife have both been looking in town for real estate, and they figure they will be able to buy something. I feel pretty confident, so we're asking for a 6-month extension to the 1 year that we allotted him originally as part of his work contract, was to find a residence within 25 miles of fire station.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. I know it's a challenging market. I know the chief's been staying overnight a lot at the firehouse, so I'm fine with this.
Great.
So I have to make a motion to authorize first selectman to execute the employment agreement, change to a 6-month extension for Chief David Lenhart, and will allow him then to secure suitable housing in Summers.
Second that?
Second. Great. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in support say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we have the need for a motion to authorize the first selectman to proceed with the execution of Mr. Brian Wissinger's employment contract, including proposed salary increases specified in the employment agreement. As you know, Mr. Wissinger has now been serving as the chief financial officer for almost 2 years. He was hired in that position with the prospect that he would get a significant raise after he'd been involved and learned in the job. He's had the opportunity to work with Mike Marinaccio, who has stayed on as the assistant treasurer here in town. And I think the two of them have worked very well together. And so I think the time is ripe for us to put forth a proposal that is acceptable to Mr. Wissinger for salary increases over the next year, 15 months or so. It includes an initial salary of $125,000 effective April
2025.
20th, I think is the...
Yeah, it says April 2025.
Right, that's the beginning of the pay period. Then an additional, then the salary would be increased to $127,800 on the 1st of January 2026, or the first pay period closest to that. And then again, it would be increased to $130,000 on July 1, 2026.
Sounds great.
And the work agreement does require that he not seek employment in another similar town within I think it's a 3-year period until July 1 of 2028.
Oh, July 1 of 28.
Yeah, just to make sure that we're going to have him for another 3 years.
What a keeper.
Yeah,
He does a great
he's
job.
a keeper.
Yeah, he is
that's
a
the
keeper.
bottom line. And needless to say, he's worked out well in this town. He's been here for over 10 years. He's definitely grown in the job.
Oh, sure.
But he continually learns new things almost every day,
Yes, he does.
and does a lot of good homework research, and it thoroughly put together, very solid, detailed presentations that I think both the Board of Selectmen, people in town, the town employees, and the Board of Finance have all respected and appreciated.
Absolutely.
Sounds good to me.
So I think we need a motion on this.
I'd have to make a motion to authorize First Selectman to proceed with the execution of Brian Wissinger's employment contract, which includes the proposed salary increases specified in the employment agreement.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on the motion?
I'd just echo all the things the first selectman said. I mean, I think, the experience, it's been a seamless transition. I think this adjustment brings it in line with the market, and I support it. So,
I
thank
think
you.
the timing is good, too. I think he's been here for about 2 years, and
Yeah, he's up for reappointment in July, so.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and this accords with the charter as
Yes.
well.
Yes,
It aligns with the charter, so,
I think it makes sense.
great. Any further discussion? All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Approval of minutes of our April 3rd meeting, regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen.
Should I make a motion?
These are the special this is the special meeting minutes?
No,
This was,
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
could we adjusted the time?
I'm
Yes.
sorry.
That should be special meeting minutes,
What
right?
about direct
It is.
special? Sorry about that. Good catch, Bob.
made me look.
Sorry about that.
No, because it says special meeting on these.
Yes.
You're right, absolutely.
I know we didn't have another meeting, so.
We did.
Good catch. So we're going to amend that, approval of minutes of the April 23rd, 2005.
Yeah, special meeting.
What's on the agenda? So-
We actually need minutes from the executive session as well.
Yeah, and did you make a motion on that?
No motions were made, no
I'll
votes
have
were
those at the
taken,
next
no, yeah,
one.
that's
I
fine.
just probably forgot about
Yeah,
it.
it's okay. No, it's fine. Okay, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 3rd, 2025 special meeting of the Board of Selectmen as presented.
Second?
Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Excellent.
Okay,
Is
very good. Thank you, Maureen.
6:50.
You want ready to drive home? Easter. Usually good time.